You've been lied to not by accident, not because someone forgot to tell you the truth, but because keeping you quiet, keeping you small, keeping you exhausted, that is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They sell you dreams in shiny packages while hiding the real blueprint in a vault you didn't even know existed. You wake up tired. You go to bed anxious. You scroll through lives that look perfect while your own chest feels tight with the weight of bills, expectations, and a quiet voice whispering, "Is this really all there is?" That voice, that's not depression. That's your soul pounding on the door of your own mediocrity. And today, I'm kicking that door off its hinges. Rich people are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They do not possess some magical gene that you missed out on in the cosmic lottery. But they do possess 5 secrets that they will never, ever tell you in public. Secrets that would break the entire system if they got out. Secrets that, once you hear them, will either terrify you so deeply that you run back to your comfort zone, or will light a fire so fierce inside your bones that you become unrecognizable within 12 months. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to wake you up. And waking up hurts. It hurts like the first breath after being underwater too long. It burns like a muscle tearing so it can grow back stronger. But you didn't click on the script because you wanted soft lies wrapped in gentle voices. You clicked because somewhere underneath the exhaustion and the doubt, you still believe you were meant for more. And you're right. You were. So put your phone down for a second. Take a breath. No, take 3. Because what I'm about to tell you will rearrange the furniture in your mind. And before we even get to the first secret, I need you to understand something critical. The reason you haven't broken through yet is not because you're lazy. It's not because you're not talented enough. It's because you've been playing a game with the wrong rulebook. You've been running a marathon with hiking boots on. You've been trying to build a skyscraper with a spoon. The rich, they have a different set of tools. Tools they hide. Tools they pretend don't exist. Tools they will gaslight you about so you stay in your lane. But today that ends. Today you get the uncensored, unpolished, raw truth. And by the time we finish these 5 secrets, you will either be offended or you will be free. There is no in-between. Let's begin secret 1. The power of strategic silence. Why saying nothing builds empires. You talk too much. I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. You explain yourself. You justify yourself. You defend your choices, your dreams, your pain, your past. You feel this burning need to be understood, to be validated, to have other people nod their heads and say, yes, that makes sense, you're right to feel that way. And that need is your leash. That need is the collar around your neck that the world uses to pull you back into line every single time you try to step forward. Rich people understand something that you have never been taught. Silence is a weapon. Silence is a fortress. Silence is the space where real power grows roots. When you constantly explain yourself, you hand other people the map to your weaknesses. You tell them what scares you, what you're desperate for, what you'll settle for. And once they know that, you're done. You're not a player anymore. You're a puppet. Think about the last time you were in a negotiation, a job interview, a conversation about money with your partner, a disagreement with a colleague. What did you do? You filled the silence. You got nervous when they didn't respond immediately, so you started talking again. You offered concessions before they were asked for. You showed your cards, then showed them again, then started explaining why those cards were actually pretty good. Please don't walk away. That behavior, that's poverty behavior. That's the behavior of someone who believes their value is up for debate. The wealthy have learned a brutal truth. Most people cannot tolerate silence. Most people will panic, squirm, and eventually speak just to end the discomfort. And when they speak, they lose. They reveal. They overcommit. They negotiate against themselves. The rich sit in that silence like a warm bath. They let you hang yourself with your own words while they say nothing at all. And then they walk away with the deal, the promotion, the respect, the terms that favor them. This isn't about being rude or cold. This is about understanding that your words are currency. Every time you open your mouth, you are spending. The question is, are you investing or are you wasting? Most of you are wasting. You're giving away your power in casual conversation. You're explaining your trauma to people who don't deserve the story. You're justifying your dreams to people who have already given up on their own. Stop. Just stop. Here's the science part, and pay close attention because this is where your brain gets rewired. When you remain silent in a tense situation, your nervous system will scream at you to speak. That urge, that's your amygdala, the fear center of your brain interpreting silence as a threat. It's the same response your ancestors had when they heard a twig snap in the dark. Silence equals danger, your brain says. Say something, fix this, make it safe. But the wealthy have trained themselves to override that signal. They have learned that the discomfort of silence is not a warning, it is a test. And every time you sit in that discomfort without flinching, you strengthen your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-control, long-term thinking, and strategic decision-making. You are literally building more gray matter every time you choose silence over reaction. That's not spirituality, that's neurology, so here is your new daily habit. For the next 30 days, practice strategic silence in low-stakes situations first. The coffee shop when they get your order wrong. The grocery line when someone cuts in front of you. The group chat when someone says something that makes your blood boil. Say nothing. Observe your urge to speak. Feel it rise in your chest. And then let it pass like a wave. Do not act. Do not explain. Do not defend. Just breathe and watch. You will be shocked at how often people will fill the silence with exactly what you needed to hear. They will confess. They will offer. They will negotiate against themselves. They will reveal their true intentions without you ever asking. And you will stand there, calm as stone, realizing for the first time that you were never bad at conversations. You were just giving away your power for free. This secret alone, if you master it, will change every relationship in your life. Your boss will respect you more. Your partner will listen differently. Your children will learn boundaries by watching you, but only if you shut up first. Say this out loud. My silence is not emptiness. My silence is strategy. I do not owe anyone my explanation secret too. They treat fear as a fuel gauge, not a stop sign. You have been taught that fear means stop. That fear is a warning light telling you to go back to safety, to curl up, to wait until the feeling passes. Your parents told you this. Your teachers reinforced it. Every movie, every song, every cultural message has drilled into your bones that fear is the enemy. Fear is weakness. Fear means you are not ready. And that single lie has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Let me tell you the truth that rich people breathe like oxygen. Fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a fuel gauge. Fear tells you exactly where you need to go. The stronger the fear, the more important the direction. That knot in your stomach when you think about asking for a raise. That's not danger, that's the doorway. That trembling in your hands before you speak in public, that's not incompetence. That's your power trying to break through old skin. The wealthy have a completely different relationship with fear. They don't try to eliminate it, they don't meditate it away. They don't drink it numb or distract it with Netflix. They feel it fully, the racing heart, the shallow breath, the sweaty palms, and they move anyway. They have learned that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is fear walking. Courage is fear taking one more step, and then another. And then another. You are waiting to feel ready. That is your fatal error. You are waiting for the day when your voice doesn't shake, when your hands are steady, when your mind is perfectly clear. That day will never come, ever. The people you admire, the ones who seem so confident on stages and in boardrooms and on social media, they are terrified every single time. The difference is they have stopped interpreting terror as a reason to retreat. They see it as a signal that they are finally playing a game worth winning. Here is the raw psychological truth. Your brain has a mechanism called the negativity bias. It evolved over millions of years to keep you alive in a world of predators and famines, and it still works perfectly. But the predators today are not lions. They are your own potential. Your brain interprets a promotion, a public speech, a difficult conversation, a bold investment as a threat to your social standing. And social standing to your ancient brain meant survival, so it floods you with cortisol and adrenaline. Your stomach churns, your thoughts spiral, and you think something is wrong. Nothing is wrong, everything is right. You are standing at the edge of your own growth, and the only way out is through. The wealthy have hacked this system. They use a technique called cognitive reappraisal. Instead of telling themselves, I am terrified, this is bad, I should stop, they say, I am excited, my body is preparing me for performance, this energy is fuel. And here is the miracle. Your brain cannot tell the difference between fear and excitement. The physiological response is identical. The only difference is the story you tell yourself. Change the story, change the chemistry, change your entire life. So here is your new discipline. Every morning for 10 minutes you will sit in silence and you will ask yourself one question. What am I avoiding today because it scares me? Not what you don't have time for, not what's not important, what scares you. And whatever answer comes up, that is your first task, not your last, your first. You will do the thing that frightens you before you check email, before you scroll, before you have coffee. You will walk into the fear while it is fresh and raw, and you will not negotiate. Do this for 1 week and you will feel something shift in your spine. Do it for a month and you will become someone who does not recognize the word can't. Do it for a year and people will call you lucky, gifted, born with something special. And you will smile because you will know the truth. You just got comfortable being terrified. Real life scenario. You are in a meeting. Your boss asks for volunteers to lead a project that is way above your pay grade. Your heart slams against your ribs. Your mouth goes dry. Every cell in your body screams, look down, don't make eye contact, someone else will do it. That scream, that's the stop sign you were trained to obey. The wealthy, they raise their hand while their voice shakes. They say I'll do it while their palms sweat. They walk into the fire knowing they might get burned because they also know that burned people grow thicker skin. Stop waiting for the fear to leave. It never leaves. It just waits for you to outgrow its importance. Say this out loud. Fear is not my enemy. Fear is my map. Where it is strongest, my growth is waiting. Secret 3. They protect their mornings like a burning building. The first 90 minutes decide everything. You wake up and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. You tell yourself it's just for a moment, just to check the time, just to see if anyone messaged. But within 60 seconds, you have ingested a cocktail of notifications, news, emails, social media updates, and someone else's highlight reel. You have handed the steering wheel of your brain to the entire world before you have even sat up in bed. And then you wonder why you feel reactive, anxious, and behind before breakfast. Rich people do not do this. They do not touch their phones for the first 90 minutes of the day, not because they are old-fashioned or pretending to be spiritual, because they understand a brutal biological fact. The first 90 minutes after waking are when your brain is in its most suggestible, most creative, most powerful state. Your prefrontal cortex is fresh. Your dopamine receptors are hungry, and whatever you feed them first will set the neural pathway for the next 16 hours. When you feed your brain news and social media first thing, you are programming your nervous system for comparison, scarcity, outrage, and distraction. You are literally training your brain to scan for threats and imperfections. And by noon, you are exhausted, not because you did too much, but because you spent all morning in a low-grade fight-or-flight response triggered by strangers on the internet. The wealthy treat their mornings like sacred ground. They wake up early, yes, but not for the reason you think. It's not about getting more hours in the day. It's about getting the right hours. They understand that willpower is a finite resource that depletes with every decision. So they front-load their most important, most difficult, most meaningful work into the hours when their willpower is highest. By the time the rest of the world is stumbling toward their first coffee, the wealthy have already made decisions that move their lives forward. Here is your new morning routine, and do not argue with it until you have tried it for 30 days. Wake up. Do not touch your phone. Do not check the time. Do not roll over and think about yesterday's failures. Sit up, breathe, 10 deep breaths, in through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4, out through the mouth for 6. This is not mystical nonsense. This is a physiological reset. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which shuts down the stress response before it can hijack your day. Then drink a full glass of water. Your brain has been dehydrating for 8 hours. Dehydration leads to fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. You are not a bad person in the morning. You are a dry person. Then move your body for 10 minutes. Stretch, jumping jacks, a short walk, anything that gets blood flowing to your muscles and your brain. Then sit down with a notebook, not a screen, paper. Write down 3 things you are grateful for. Not big things, small things, the heat in your home, the fact that you can read this sentence, the smell of coffee. Gratitude rewires your dopamine receptors to seek satisfaction in what you already have, which stops the desperate chasing of what you don't. Then write down your single most important task for the day. Not 10 tasks. 1. The one thing that, if you did nothing else, would make the day a success. Then do that task, before email, before meetings, before the world gets a vote. You will fight this. Your addiction to your phone will scream. Your habit of checking messages will thrash like a wild animal. That's how you know it's working. Every morning you resist the pull, you are not just changing a habit. You are changing your identity. You are becoming someone who owns their attention instead of renting it to every notification that comes along. And here is the secret within the secret. The wealthy are not more disciplined than you. They have simply removed the need for discipline by designing their environment. They put their phone in another room to charge. They sleep with a real alarm clock. They prepare their water and notebook the night before. They automate their morning so that willpower is never required. You cannot rely on motivation. Motivation is a firefly. Environment is the sun. So tonight, before you sleep, put your phone in the kitchen. Not on your nightstand, not under your pillow, the kitchen. Plug it in there. Buy a cheap alarm clock. Put a glass of water and a notebook next to your bed. Remove every obstacle between you and the morning you want, and then watch what happens. The first 3 days will feel strange. The first week will feel uncomfortable. But by day 21, your brain will have physically rewired. The cravings will fade. The new pattern will become your normal. And you will finally understand why some people seem to have infinite energy while you are running on fumes by 10 a.m. Say this out loud. I do not give my morning to the world. I give my morning to myself. And what I build here, no one can take secret for. They treat their body language like a business asset, posture, presence, and the silent conversation you are losing. You are leaking power every single second of every single day. Not through what you say, not through what you do, but through how you hold yourself, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk into a room, the way you look at the floor when you're thinking, the way you cross your arms when you're uncomfortable, the way you touch your face, your hair, your collar when you're nervous. All of it is speaking. And what it is saying in almost every case is, I am not sure I belong here. Please don't hurt me. I am smaller than I look. The wealthy know something that psychology has only recently proven. Your body language does not just communicate confidence to others. It communicates confidence to you. The feedback loop runs both ways. You think your thoughts create your posture. That is true, but it is only half the truth. Your posture also creates your thoughts. Hold your body like a victim for 20 minutes and your cortisol levels will spike. Your testosterone will drop. You will feel weaker, more anxious, less capable. The science is settled. In 2010, Harvard researcher Amy Cuddy published a study showing that just 2 minutes of high-power posing, standing tall, chest open, arms spread, chin level, increases testosterone by 20% and decreases cortisol by 25%. 2 minutes. That is shorter than most commercials. That is less time than you spend waiting for your coffee. And in that tiny window, you can literally change your brain chemistry to make yourself more assertive, more resilient, and less afraid. The wealthy do not do power poses because they feel powerful. They do power poses so that they can feel powerful. They understand that the body leads and the mind follows. When they are about to walk into a difficult negotiation, a public speech, or even a family conversation that makes them uncomfortable, they find a private space, a bathroom stall, an empty office, a car, and they spend 2 minutes becoming larger, arms up like a victor, chest out like a warrior, jaw set like a king. And then they walk into the room already winning. But it's not just about poses, it's about your default settings. How do you sit at your desk right now? Be honest. Are your shoulders rolled forward? Is your head tilted down toward a screen? Are your legs crossed tight? That position held for 8 hours a day is not just destroying your spine, it is destroying your self-worth. Every slouch tells your brain, I am protecting my vital organs. I am expecting an attack. I am vulnerable. And your brain believes you. So it keeps you anxious, keeps you small, keeps you quiet. Here is your new habit. Set an alarm on your phone for every hour. When it goes off, check your posture. Shoulders back, down and back. Chest slightly lifted. Chin parallel to the floor. Feet flat. Uncross your legs. Unclench your jaw. Unhook your thumbs from your pockets. Take 3 deep breaths, then go back to work. Do this for 1 week and your body will begin to adopt this posture as its new normal. Do it for a month and people will start telling you that you seem different, more grounded, more present, more credible. And here is where the real wealth is built. When your body language changes, the way people treat you changes. This is not fair, it is not just, but it is true. Humans are pattern-matching machines. We make split-second judgments about status, competence, and trustworthiness based entirely on posture and presence. A person who stands tall, makes steady eye contact, and occupies space is perceived as more intelligent, more capable, and more honest, regardless of their actual qualifications. You have been passed over for promotions not because you weren't good enough, but because your body was whispering "I'm not sure" when your resume was shouting "I am ready." You have been interrupted in meetings not because your ideas were bad, but because the way you hold your body invites interruption. You have been dismissed in conversations because your hands were fidgeting, your voice was rising at the end of sentences, your eyes were darting away. These are not personality flaws. These are habits, and habits can be broken. Practice eye contact today, not starring, not aggressive, steady, warm. When someone speaks to you, look at them. When you speak, look at them. Do not look away first. Do not check your phone. Do not glance at the door. Be present. People can feel when they have your full attention. And that feeling, more than any clever word or impressive fact, is what creates loyalty, respect, and influence. Practice occupying space. When you sit in a meeting, do not shrink into your chair. Do not hug your laptop to your chest. Spread your papers. Rest your arm on the table. Take up the space you are paying for with your presence. When you walk into a room, do not slide along the wall. Walk through the center. Walk slowly. Walk like you belong there because you do. The moment you act like you are an inconvenience, the world will treat you like one. This is not about arrogance. Arrogance is fear and drag. Real presence is quiet. Real presence is calm. Real presence says, "I have nothing to prove and nothing to hide." And that is exactly what the wealthy project, not because they feel it naturally, but because they have practiced it until it became bone deep. Say this out loud. My body is not separate from my power. My body is my power made visible. I stand like someone who belongs. Secret 5. THEY cull their RELATIONSHIPS like a gardener. The brutal truth about who you keep close. This is the secret that will make you the most uncomfortable. The secret that might make you angry. The secret that will force you to look in the mirror and ask questions you have been avoiding for years. So let me say it plainly and without apology. The people you surround yourself with are either accelerating your wealth or accelerating your poverty. There is no neutral. There is no harmless. Every single relationship in your life is either an investment or a tax. The wealthy understand this with ruthless clarity. They do not keep friends out of guilt. They do not attend events out of obligation. They do not say yes to coffee dates, family gatherings, or long phone calls because they feel bad saying no. They have a filter, and that filter is brutal, and that filter is this: does this person make me better or do they make me smaller? And if the answer is smaller, they cut them out. Quietly, cleanly, completely. You have friends who mock your ambition. You know who they are. They roll their eyes when you talk about your goals. They say must be nice when you share a win. They change the subject when you mention saving money or starting a business. They tell you to relax, to stop working so hard, to come out and have a drink like a normal person. And you have been telling yourself they mean well. They love you. They're just looking out for you. They are not looking out for you. They are looking out for themselves. Your growth threatens their stagnation. Your progress shines a light on their excuses. Every time you take a step forward, you become a mirror that shows them exactly how far they have chosen not to go. And instead of looking in that mirror, they try to break it. They try to drag you back down to their level. Not because they hate you, because they cannot stand the reflection. The wealthy do not allow this. They have learned that motivation is contagious and so is mediocrity. Spend an hour with someone who complains constantly, and you will find yourself complaining. Spend an evening with someone who drinks too much and makes poor decisions, and your own discipline will waver. Spend a week with someone who has given up on their dreams, and you will start to wonder if yours are foolish too. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience. Mirror neurons in your brain fire identically when you watch someone do something as when you do it yourself. You are literally absorbing the emotional and behavioral patterns of the people around you. So here is your action step, and it is not gentle. Make a list. Write down every person you spent time with in the last month. Next to each name, write one of three things: lifts me, drains me, neutral. The lifts are people who challenge you, support you, inspire you, call you forward. The drains are people who leave you tired, anxious, doubtful, or small. The neutrals are people who take your time and give nothing back, neither good nor bad, just empty. Now here is the hard part. You are going to cut the drains immediately. No long conversations, no explanations, no dramatic exits. You simply become less available. You stop initiating. You say no to invitations. You let the relationship die of natural neglect. The neutrals are trickier. They are not harmful, but they are not helpful. And time is the only non-renewable resource you have. Every hour you spend with a neutral is an hour you could have spent with a lift or with yourself growing. So you do not cut neutrals entirely. You downgrade them. Once a month instead of once a week. 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. You reclaim your calendar like a warrior reclaiming stolen land. And then you do something that will feel deeply uncomfortable. You go find new lifts. You join communities of people who are chasing what you are chasing. You attend events where you are the dumbest person in the room. You reach out to people ahead of you and offer value before you ask for anything. You surround yourself with voices that say you can when your own voice says you can't. This is not optional. This is survival. You cannot become wealthy in a poverty mindset. You cannot become disciplined in a culture of excuses. You cannot become courageous in a tribe of cowards. Real life scenario. You have a family member who constantly brings up your past failures. Every holiday dinner, they remind you of the time you lost money, quit a job, made a mistake. They say, "I'm just being honest," or "I'm just worried about you." But the pattern is clear. They need you to stay small so they don't feel alone in their own smallness. The wealthy solution: you love them from a distance. You attend the dinners but leave early. You change the subject. You do not engage. You protect your psychology like a parent protects a child from fire. This is not selfish. This is stewardship. You have one life, one mind, one nervous system, and every person you allow into your inner circle is either building that house or burning it down. Choose wisely. Choose brutally. Choose now. Say this out loud. I am the average of the 5 people I spend the most time with. So I choose carefully. And I release everyone who is not ready to rise. You have heard 5 secrets today. Secrets that rich people hide, not because they are cruel, but because they know that most of you are not ready to hear them. Most of you will nod along, feel inspired for an hour, and then go back to your old habits by tomorrow morning. That is not judgment. That is pattern recognition. That is the graveyard of good intentions. But maybe you are different. Maybe something in these words found a crack in your armor. Maybe you felt that uncomfortable tightening in your chest because you know deep down that you have been playing small, that you have been hiding, that you have been waiting for permission from people who have no authority to give it. If that is you, then here is your final instruction. Do not try to change everything at once. Choose one secret, one habit, one shift, and practice it for 30 days. Strategic silence, morning discipline, fear as fuel, body language, relationship culling, just one. Master it until it becomes automatic. Then add another. That is how wealthy people are made. Not in a single dramatic explosion, but in the quiet, boring, relentless accumulation of small choices. The phone is in your hand right now. You know what to do. The question is not whether you can. The question is whether you will. Say this out loud. I am not waiting anymore. I am not explaining anymore. I am not shrinking anymore. Today I begin.